a desperate lynx did the unthinkable. It stopped traffic, stared into drivers' souls, and led them to a secret no human could have found alone. The noon sun burned mercilessly down on Highway 52, which wound through the heart of Canada's Alberta province. The heat made the air shimmer, casting mirages on the scorching asphalt. Friday traffic crawled, some vehicles headed toward Calgary, others bound for the picturesque mountain trails of Banff National Park. None of the travelers on that sweltering highway could have guessed they were about to witness something almost unbelievable. Officer Kate Morrison adjusted her dark sunglasses and took a sip of water from her thermos. The clock read 1:47 p.m., the peak of a blistering day when emergency calls were least expected. In her 10 years with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, she'd seen plenty, but today's dispatch left her shaking her head in disbelief. A sudden radio alert about a lynx blocking traffic at mile 87 sounded like an urban legend. Kate double-checked with dispatch. 7 calls about the same incident had come in over the past 15 minutes. According to reports, the young lynx was behaving strangely, refusing to leave the road. Wildlife encounters weren't rare here, but animals usually either dashed across or were hit by cars. A lynx stubbornly holding its ground? Unheard of. From a distance, Kate spotted the backup, a line of cars stretching nearly a kilometer. Drivers had stepped out, pointing toward the road's center, filming with their phones. She parked her cruiser carefully, activated the emergency lights, and stepped into the oppressive heat. The searing air burned her lungs with the first breath. Even her short-sleeved uniform offered no relief. Adjusting her duty belt, she approached the crowd. A burly man in a Calgary Flames cap explained. The odd lynx had been pacing the highway for over half an hour, as if trying to stop cars. He'd nearly hit it with his pickup before slamming the brakes. No one dared shoo it away. It was a wild predator, and its behavior was downright bizarre. Many drivers noted it didn't flee from humans, but peered into car windows, almost as if searching for someone. Kate moved forward cautiously, declining an offer to take a bat for protection. Weaving between stalled vehicles, she finally saw the cause of the jam. There, standing on the center line, was a young lynx. Its reddish-gray fur glowed in the sunlight, ear tufts twitching alertly. Kate froze, struck by the creature's beauty and its desperation. That was the word that came to mind. The lynx wasn't aggressive, but hopeless. It made short leaps towards cars, then retreated, scanning nervously before repeating the ritual. Thanks to her training, Kate stayed calm when the lynx suddenly noticed her, closed the gap in seconds, and stopped just meters away. It locked eyes with her and emitted a strange sound between a mewl and a growl. Then she saw it, a metallic glint on the lynx's hind leg, an unnatural object. Kneeling, she recognized a GPS tracker with a bright red attachment, like an emergency beacon. Kate radioed dispatch, requesting a wildlife specialist. The next 30 minutes were among the strangest of her career. While rerouting traffic, calming frustrated drivers, and keeping gawkers at bay, she kept watch on the lynx, which in turn never took its eyes on her. A wildlife conservation SUV arrived, bringing relief. A tall man in an olive jacket stepped out, his sun-bleached hair and sharp gaze telegraphing experience. Dr. James Elliott, a large cat expert, was as befuddled as Kate. Through binoculars, he identified the device as a hiker's emergency GPS, the kind given to backcountry travelers. As they discussed the anomaly, the lynx's behavior shifted. It trotted toward them, then turned and sprinted to the roadside, pausing to glance back, waiting. When no one followed, it returned, repeating the gesture. Even skeptical Kate couldn't deny the obvious. The lynx was leading them. It felt like a scene from Lassie, except this was real. After a quick call to headquarters, James delivered shocking news. The signal belonged to Alex Hutton, a wildlife researcher who'd vanished in Banff 3 days prior. He specialized in big cats and had been tracking tagged lynxes. The evidence was undeniable. A wild animal had deliberately sought human help, even risking gripping, cinematic, with a touch of wonder. The forest thickened, canopy shielding them from the sun. James pointed out fresh boot prints and broken branches, no older than 2 days, matching the lynx's path. An hour in, the lynx suddenly sped ahead, vanishing into brush. Pushing through, Kate and James reached a clearing with signs of recent habitation: a cold campfire, canned food, and a torn backpack. Most alarming were bloodstains on the leaves. Someone was hurt, and the disturbed ground suggested a struggle or fall. The lynx reappeared, more urgent now. It darted to the clearing's edge, where a steep ravine dropped away, emitting desperate cries. Peering down, they saw a 10-meter gorge with a creek, and at its base, a man pinned under a fallen tree. At James' shout, the figure weakly raised a hand, alive. Kate radioed coordinates, requesting a medevac. They scrambled down the slope, the lynx navigating effortlessly. At the bottom, they found Alex Hutton, conscious but in bad shape. His leg was crushed, his face pale with pain and dehydration. When the lynx nuzzled his hand, he whispered, "Lyla, you came back, good girl." As James administered aid, Alex explained in a weak voice. Lyla was a young lynx he'd monitored since birth as part of a rehab program. She'd been preparing for release when, 3 days earlier, a lightning strike felled a tree, sending Alex tumbling into the ravine. Trapped, he'd fastened his emergency beacon to Lyla, hoping she'd find help. He admitted it was a last-ditch effort. No protocol existed for training wild animals to seek aid. But Lyla wasn't entirely wild. Her rehab upbringing had linked roads with humans and safety. The rescue team arrived, using hydraulic tools to free Alex's leg. Medics diagnosed a compound fracture, dehydration, and early-stage hypothermia. Through it all, Lyla lingered nearby, balancing wild instincts with trust. As Alex was loaded onto a stretcher, he begged someone to care for Lyla. Her release wasn't ready. James promised to oversee her until Alex recovered. The incredible tale spread nationwide. News outlets dubbed it the Lynx Rescue, and footage of Lyla stopping traffic went viral. While Alex healed, Lyla stayed at the Banff Research Center, astonishing scientists with her socialization. 3 months later, Kate visited the center. Alex, now walking with a cane, reflected, "She was always clever, but what she did, finding people, getting attention, that's beyond anything we thought possible." The scientific community debated, coincidence or proof of advanced cognition? Lyla's case attracted funding for further research on wildcat intelligence. For visitors, Lyla became a symbol, a reminder that humans aren't the only thinkers on Earth. As indigenous legends say, animals and humans once shared a language. Watching Alex sit quietly by her enclosure now, many wonder, does that language still linger, unspoken but understood? Lyla's story urges us to listen to the wild. Miracles don't happen when we believe. They happen when we're ready to see them, even on a dusty highway under a summer sun. We call them dumb animals, but what if they're smarter than we think? Lyla the lynx didn't just save a life. She exposed the arrogant lie that humans are the only creatures who think, love, or plead for mercy. Share if you believe nature speaks, and we're just not listening.